guys, this is part 2 of this box framing that I'm doing. This is the heavy-duty version, and let me show you a couple of tricks just so you guys know where I'm coming from. Okay, I've got the whole box built. Nosebleed section. See? Okay, got it all built. Now, the one thing that I absolutely wanted to do, make sure that it was absolutely flush, okay? Perfectly flush and also level right across here. I took all my different marks, as you can see, and I wanted to find out which mark was absolutely the most level for when this went in, okay? When I built this, see? I created my mark and then I just reduced the spacing so when these tucked up underneath here I knew they were exactly right. Now, remember, this is hollow. Hear the difference? Because now I put set screws, these are deck screws, in all 4 sides, okay? See? Look at the tolerances, see how tight that is? Of course, this is going to get caulked, and I'm going to put some sort of flashing through here so I can take a Dremel, get me a little spacing underneath here if I wanted to, and put a metal cap on this if I wanted to, okay? That's like flashing, okay? That'll guarantee that no water gets underneath here, okay? Now, each one of these are using deck screws. I used no hot nails. I didn't use my nail gun or nothing like this. These are all hand screwed in. Everything has to be pre-drilled. Remember, pre-drill all your holes so you don't split this wood. That's the big thing. You do not want to split that wood. Okay? You want your carpentry work to look good. And then these are the screws that go into the actual 6x6. And I'm using these right here, which are basically right at 3 inches, okay? So, on every side there's 2. There's 2, 2. On the backside, and the other around. Now, this thing is as solid as going to get. This is, you can hear it. There's nothing going to move. This is solid, okay? So, when I get ready to attach the handrail, which I've already got over here, and I've got these bolts here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, they got them double bagged. Hold on. Turn up. Now, these are 2 1/4 inch galvanized bolts, okay? These are grade 6. Now, that will in turn be guaranteed to not only, and I'll pre-drill those, so wherever that wrought iron railing sits, pre-drill, and then run those bolts into the 6x6 that's behind here. Okay? So I got 1.5 inches here. The bolts are 2.5 inches, and they'll go into the 6x6, guaranteeing me a solid foundation, okay? And an anchor support. Not like the way they had this up here with these 1-inch bolts right here, which only go into the 1/2 inch wood, okay? And not into the 6x6 that's even behind this, okay? So there's the story. So that's how you do it, man. Okay. That was my test run to test my theory on how I was going to build this particular column. I'm completely satisfied with the outcome. My main thing was strength and rigidity, and I wanted everything to look good, and then at the same time, but I want it to be functional. Now, this house here is 15 years old and is rotted out. There's guys across the street doing rot work over there. There's guys next over here doing rot work. So this whole neighborhood is rotting out only after 15 to 20 years, which is insane. Americans don't build with treated lumber, and they sure don't use primer. They use untreated pine, and then they just paint. And then they really have bad, I'm just going to say just bad engineering skills, okay? A lot of you guys ask me, oh, why don't you get an inspector and engineer out here and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you something. I'll overbuild it beyond spec even with an engineer on site. I could tell him how to overbuild something before he can tell me, because I do it every single day. All he does is read books. I have to physically build stuff, okay? So I know how to make stuff last 40, 50, 60 years, okay? Remember back in the day when they built Sears homes, okay? They came in kits. These carpenters were craftsmen, and these the building techniques were so much better in the 20s and 30s. You know, that's why you've got houses that are in the 20s, from the 20s and 30s, that are still standing, okay, and still being bought and sold, old ranches. But you buy a house today that's 10 to 15, 20 years old, and it's a piece of junk. And you know why? It's because they relaxed the standards for building, okay? The building codes have been relaxed. And if a hurricane ever came through here, all this would be wiped out. Because you know why? They're built like crap. That's why I'm busy, is because all this wood rot. They don't want to hear about that though. So when customers hire me and they say, this is what we expect, I project it even further than that. I don't build for 20 years. I build for 50 years. I want a structure to stand for 50, 60 plus years. That's the way I build. That's the way I was taught. I was taught by the old guys. Remember that, not these new guys. These new guys got their heads up their ass, and I'm going to tell you that, that's flat out. The ones who are across the street, I'm sure they're good carpenters, but you know what they're doing? All they're doing is replicating what was already rotted out, using the same exact materials. I sat there and watched them for the last 2 days. They're going to have, that house is going to rot out in 12 years. So all the thousands of dollars they're spending over there, that work there is not going to be any better than what it was when it was before it was built, okay? Because it's being built by the same standards. They're using the same materials from, you know, just crappy material, untreated lumber. Okay, guys, out of here. Enough ranting and raving. I just wanted to share that with you. And my mentality behind building, that's why people hire me, is because I can take something to an extreme, okay? And when you guys go out and start building, I want you guys to build extreme, okay? Good. See you guys later. Way overbuilt. That'll last 60 years by itself. I know for a fact it will. Hasta la vista.